guys, today I'm going to cook a beef roast in the Instant Pot with a few vegetables and some cream of mushroom soup. So let's apply the pressure. I have a 2.42 pound beef cross rib roast here. I actually thought it was a chuck roast when I bought it, but it'll work. Things happen. Probably is a little bit less fat in it than a chuck roast, but it should work out okay. So this was $5.49 per pound. So this roast was $13.29. Also have like 3 russet potatoes. I'm going to peel those and add those. I have some of the baby red potatoes. I'm going to put a few of those in whole. Cut up maybe 3 or 4 carrots. And then I'm going to cook all that together. And then I'm going to pour out the grease and fat out of the pot and add the cream of mushroom soup at the end, and also this can of sweet corn. So let me get this roast opened up here and see how it looks. And that actually looks pretty good. I think what I'm going to do is cut it into like maybe 4 pieces, just because I like to shred it up. And it's just going to shred it up with the mushroom soup, and it'll be almost kind of like a soup or stew. So let me get that trimmed up and cut up, and then we'll start browning it up. My meat is cut up. Now I'm going to brown it. So I'm turning the pot to saute on high. I'm going to add some oil. This is avocado oil, so that won't stick to the pan. Now we'll get our pieces of meat in there. I'll just kind of swirl that around. Whoa, almost lost that. I was saying swirl that around a little bit so the oil coats the bottom of the pan there. And we'll let that brown on that side. And while that's browning, I'll cut up my potatoes and carrots. My meat's been browning for about 6 or 7 minutes here, so let me turn this over. And by the way, I just seasoned this with some salt for right now. Looks like it's browning up nicely. Kind of sticking just a little, but it's getting a nice little crust on there. Give it a little extra flavor. Alright, we'll let it go on that side for a few minutes. The meat's been browning for about 5 minutes on that side, so I'm just going to go ahead and shut that off for now. Now we'll get the rest of the vegetables in there. The 3 russet potatoes I peeled because I don't like the way the skin turns out. It turns out dry. The red potatoes I like the skin okay, so I'm going to put those in whole. So that's about 10 of those, about 3 russets, and it's about 5 carrots. They weren't very big, but I cut them into pretty good sized pieces because they tend to get a little bit mushy in this pot. And also I left the skin on as well, so we get those in there. And I'm going to add 2 cups of water, and I'm going to season that with just a little bit of salt. This is kosher salt. You can always add more seasoning at the end if it needs it. And I'm going to use some Johnny's seasoned pepper, sprinkle in a little of that. If you don't have this, you can just use some regular pepper, and that'll probably be fine. And also sprinkle in a little onion powder, granulated onion. Pretty good amount of that. I like that. I'll say maybe about a tablespoon of that. And let's see. I'm just going to kind of mix this up a little bit with my hand to kind of get the seasonings kind of spread around a little bit. And get the lid on there. Now I turn this to the pressure cook setting. I'm going to cook this for 20 minutes on high pressure. And I'm going to turn the keep warm off, get that started, and then I'm going to let the pressure release naturally on its own. It's been 1 hour and 21 minutes, and I just heard the pressure pin drop, so let's take a look here. Well, that looks pretty good. Everything seems nice and tender. What I'm going to do now is just pour that in a strainer and drain most of the liquid off of that. Maybe I'll save just a little bit. I think what I'm going to do is save about a cup of this broth, and then I'll have some to add back to it, and the rest I'm going to drain off. This is kind of hot, so I grabbed me some oven mitts here. Now I'll just drain this in the strainer in the sink here. Alright. Now I'll add this back to the pot. That meat is just falling apart tender, as you can see. The vegetables are super tender as well. Now I'm going to add my can of mushroom soup. This is a 22.6 ounce can. I'll also write all the ingredients I used in the description. And I'm also going to add my can of corn, juice and all. I like the sweetness you get from the juice that's in there. And I'll turn my pot back on to saute on low and just let that heat back up. This is starting to boil here, so I'm just going to kind of let everything cook together. I don't want to stir it too much because the potatoes and carrots are so soft. I don't want them to get all just turn to mush. So I did taste it. It needs a little more seasoning, I think, so I'm going to add a little more Johnny's seasoned pepper. And I think I'll add a little bit of this broth back into, maybe about, I don't know, half a cup or so. Kind of let that all blend together. And then we will give it a taste test. Look at this meat. It's just breaking up just with this spoon. It's like, it's just shredding right apart. So this ought to be pretty good. Well, this looks like it turned out pretty good. The vegetables are always like super tender in the Instant Pot. These little red potatoes hold together pretty good. I like the way those turn out. Like I said, the russets, I like them peeled better, but they turn out good that way as well. Look how tender this meat is. This was cross rib roast. I thought it was a chuck roast when I bought it, but it's a cross rib roast, but it looks like it's pretty tender. It looks like it's fairly moist as well, so let's give it a try. That's real good. I thought it might be a little bit dry, but not really. It turned out pretty good. So I made a mistake and grabbed the wrong type of roast and learned something new. A cross rib roast turns out good in the Instant Pot as well. I'll bet Annie won't complain that I got the wrong type of roast. You want to try it, Annie? There you go. Didn't matter to her. Well, that worked out real good. I ended up adding back the whole cup of broth that I, took out. So I added the whole cup back. Cooking time was 20 minutes on the pressure cook setting, but the total time in the pot, I think, was 1 hour and 21 minutes by the time the pressure released on its own, and the meat came out super tender and it was pretty moist and juicy, so pretty happy with that. I'll write everything I use in the description. Thanks for watching. See you guys.